Hey Evolvers, welcome back to my channel, Almost Evolved. We'll explore topics dealing with life and love. Everything from relationships, spirituality, sex, life purpose, and health. Pretty much everything you can think of. Today we're going to talk about 7 signs that you're moving too fast to get into a relationship and why you should probably slow it down. So first, a little disclaimer. When I'm saying moving too fast in a relationship, I'm talking about a relationship that you actually want to go somewhere, a relationship that you want to last for a significant amount of time, maybe even for your whole life. I'm not talking about hookups or friends with benefits. You can definitely rush those. Have at it. I mean, that's what it's about, is rushing. Also, I want to point out my shirt, Good Vibes, Bad Habits. That's at lovedruggy.com. If you use the code ALMOSTEVOLVED, you'll get 10% off your first order. Okay, so what's the big deal about rushing anyway? What does it matter? I mean, it's the fun part, right? I mean, getting to know someone, just spending all your time together. It's super fun, I get it, but if you really want a relationship to last, be healthy and functional, it's important that you don't rush because you skip important steps in building a foundation. So a lot of times people will rush into a relationship and then they kind of get stuck because they end up moving in together too quickly, or they get pregnant, and then you're stuck with this person for a lifetime. So it's very important to be clear-headed and not rush when you're getting into a relationship. So with that, here are the 7 signs that you are rushing. The first sign, I actually had it as my 4th sign, but I moved it up to number 1 because it's kind of a trickle-down effect. Once this first thing happens, then it kind of affects everything else on my list. So the first sign that you're rushing is that you have sex right away. And I get it. I've done it so many times. But there was actually a study done that said if you wait between 5 and 6 dates before things turn physical, you're actually more likely to have a longer relationship than people who don't wait for that 5 to 6 date threshold. When we have sex, we release hormones, oxytocin and some other hormones that basically get us high off of this other person. So you're totally out of your head. You're not thinking clearly because you're high. You're just, oh my God, this person is everything. They're so perfect. You feel like you're in love with this person and you don't even know them. When you have sex right away, that's the basis of your relationship. The basis is physical, and a relationship cannot stand on a just purely physical foundation. You have to have some key things. You have to have an emotional connection, spiritual, mental. There has to be foundational values that you share if you want the relationship to be healthy and functional and to last. You can have a long relationship with someone and it's not healthy or functional. Believe me, I have done it. So if you want to have those key things, healthy, functional, and lasting, it's probably not the best idea to just have the foundation of sex. So the second sign that you are moving too fast in your relationship is saying, I love you right away. I've done it before. And it's not that I didn't feel it, because I definitely did. But again, it goes back to that number 1 thing I said, is sex. When you have sex right away, you do feel like you're in love. But real true love is a deep knowing of someone. And to really know someone, it takes a little bit of time to be able to see people in different situations, seeing how they treat other people, how they treat you, because in the beginning, they're showing you what they want to show you. You're seeing what they're allowing you to see, and that's not everything. They're putting their best foot forward, and that doesn't last. They can only keep up the charade for so long. So it's best if you just take your time, let things happen organically, don't have sex right away, and see if the feeling of love is true. If you love them because you have seen the good, the bad, the ugly, you deeply know who they are and you genuinely do love them. When we say I love you too soon, it's really more of lust and infatuation, not true love. We love the idea of them. When we meet someone, we tell ourselves stories and we imagine how things are going to be. Yeah, we create all these fantasies and we fall in love with the idea. We fall in love with the story, with the fantasy that we created these people. It's not actually who they are. It's just who we're creating them to be. A lot of times we're saying that we love that idea that we've made of them, and then what happens is they don't live up to that idea, they don't live up to our expectations. Then we get pissed off, we start arguments because they're not living up to the expectations. But the expectations are what we created, not who they really were. They never said they were that. We made them to be that, and that's what we fell in love with. So the third sign that you're rushing and moving too fast in a relationship is that you are constantly in each other's lives in some way, shape, or form. So whether that's constantly texting, constantly on the phone, constantly at each other's houses, you just never separated, you're just always together. That gets old pretty quickly. I mean, it's super fun. I get it. Trust me, I do. But it doesn't last. After a while, you're gonna get very irritated with each other. The key to desire is actually separateness. You have to be apart to be able to miss each other. And if you're constantly together, you're gonna push each other away, and not in a good way. So it's best to just take things slow. You don't constantly have to be on the phone, texting at each other's house. It's good to have two whole individual people with their own identities coming together and creating something brand new. That's where the best relationships are. So I was married for 11 years and I was with him for 18 years, and we were constantly together from day one. Since we got together when we were 14 and we broke up, and then we got back together when we were 15, and when we got back together when we were 15, we just all the time together. And that lasted for about 6 months, and then we were just constantly up and down for the rest of our lives. Still today, we're not together anymore, but we're still constantly up and down with our communication, with our relationship. And what would have helped is if we would have had our own separate identities. He had an identity more so than I did. I was kind of his support, and my whole identity was just wrapped up into him and our kids. So we set the tone from the beginning. We were just constantly just one unit. And there's something, I mean, there's a beautiful thing about togetherness, but there's an equally beautiful thing about separateness. And separateness is what is able to make a relationship healthy. It sounds counterintuitive, counterproductive to be separate, to be with someone, but it's very necessary in a relationship to remain individuals with your own identity and just to come together and create something new, but not to just create this codependent thing. That's not healthy. So the fourth sign that you are rushing a relationship, moving too fast, and it's probably not going to last, or it's going to be unhealthy and dysfunctional, is that from day one, pretty much, you started planning the future together. Big plans, houses, babies, marriage. And I have done this too because I had sex right away and I thought I was in love. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna be with this person forever and I'm gonna have his babies and we're gonna live together and it's gonna be wonderful. Yeah, so that didn't happen because I came to my senses after a while. It takes a couple months usually, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I really didn't even know you. And not that they're a bad person, it just might not be a good fit. And you don't know if it's a good fit until you really get to know someone. And you don't know someone after a month or 2 months. It takes a while. I know someone who they met at a 4th of July event. By the 5th of July, they were already planning a trip together. They went on a trip within a week. Started talking about houses, moving in together, babies, marriage, right away. By a month, one of them already had a name tattooed on them. They had sex right away. So it's like, again, they're high, they're out of their mind, in love, and they're not seeing clearly. A lot of times what people do is if they're planning these big things, there's a reason for it. They feel like they're missing something. They want a house, they want a baby, they are lonely, which is fine, it's natural, you know, humans do get lonely, but it's not a good idea just to get in a relationship with someone or just to buy a house with someone or have a baby with someone because that's what you want and you're not seeing the actual person who you're planning these things with? How are you thinking about planning a future with someone who you really don't know? And it takes time to actually get to know someone. So it's pretty backwards to me to plan a full future with someone who you don't really even know anything about their past. Don't be that person. Just take your time, let it happen organically. Get to know this person, because like I said, people put their best foot forward when they're trying to get you to like them. Just really see who they are before you try planning your future with someone. So the fifth sign that you are rushing into a relationship and you probably need to slow down is that you are having doubts about the other person or about the relationship in general. My rule of thumb for pretty much everything in life, it started off as an accessory thing. Like if I look in the mirror and I have on some earrings or a belt or a hat or whatever, if I'm in doubt, go without. That's my rule. I do that for everything. When in doubt, go without. If you're having doubts about someone, there is a reason. Your intuition is talking to you and you should listen. Think about all those times in your life when you look back, you're like, oh, hindsight is 20/20. Something told me I shouldn't do that, or something told me I should have done this. You didn't listen then. Maybe you should listen now. Your intuition's never wrong. Trust it. The sixth sign, it's weird to say that, sixth. The number 6 sign that you are rushing into a relationship and you need to slow it down is that you are on a rebound. This isn't really a sign, it's more something to take note of. If you know that this is a rebound relationship for you, just slow down. Like, there's no rushing. You just got out of something. There's no need to rush this thing. If you are going to be with this person forever like you think you are, then there's no real need to rush. Just let it happen. When we are on rebounds, we are trying to heal and feel comforted and feel cared for, which is totally and perfectly fine. We're humans. We have a need to be with other people. So there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are making big plans with this person and you know you're on a rebound, you have to think, I may not be thinking clearly because I'm just trying to feel loved again. When you're on a rebound, you have to start feeling loved by loving yourself. Taking time to heal yourself. Other people cannot heal you. You have to heal yourself. You have to rediscover who you are. You have to reestablish your own identity without the person that you broke up with. When you're whole and complete, then you're able to move into a relationship, but not so quickly after getting out of one. The seventh and final sign that you are rushing into a relationship, and you probably need to slow down, is you are overlooking non-negotiables. We all have some sort of list either written down or in our head about things that we want. And of course, there are corresponding things that we don't want and things that we don't want to accept. So if you are overlooking things that have been non-negotiable for you up to this point, if you're overlooking things that you don't like in this person and taking note of things that you want to change, and I've done this too, this person may not be the one for you. It may not be a healthy and functional relationship, because if you're taking note of things that you want to change, then you really don't want the person. You're just wanting the idea of that person. You just want a person in your life. So you're like, okay, he or she looks good, they have a good job, they have a house, money, whatever your things are. They have all this, but there's this other stuff that I'm just gonna change, it's gonna be okay. But it doesn't work that way. You have to, when you get in a relationship, you have to say, this is who this person is. You have to accept who they are. And if you don't accept who they are, then don't be with that person, because you can't go into it thinking that you're gonna change someone, because you're not. And then you're gonna be freaking disappointed when you're stuck with this person with a baby or a house or whatever. And they are who they are. You can't change them. If you see things that are non-negotiable for you, whether you have a formal list of non-negotiables or not, if you see things that do not work for you or will not allow you to have a healthy relationship with this person, be freaking honest with yourself. Be honest with that person, and you have to be willing to be alone until you find someone who is going to actually fit for you, which I know is hard for some people because people don't want to be alone. They don't like being lonely, but there is a difference between being alone and being lonely. I'll talk about that another time. Just don't rush into something just because you don't want to be alone. I promise you it'll bring you nothing but trouble and heartache and a headache in your life. Alright, so those were the 7 signs that you're rushing a relationship and you need to slow it down. If you like them, give it a big thumbs up. Be sure to share it with other people, comment, and subscribe so that you can see my next videos as they come out. Like I said, we explore topics dealing with life and love, everything from relationships to life purpose, to spirituality, to sex, to health, pretty much everything in life and love that I find of interest. And again, go to LoveJunkie.com if you're interested. There are many designs, many t-shirt designs, also cups and canvas bags, kids shirts, onesies. Again, that's LoveJunkie.com, and if you use the code ALMOSTEVOLVED, you'll get 10% off your first order. Alright, that's it. Remember to stay curious and keep exploring. Bye.